Hey everybody. Yesterday, today's video is for Tuesday, January 5th. Yesterday we discussed the beginning um, of the Arab world, that they were from, that the Arabian Peninsula is where it originated with Ishmael, Abraham's son, is where the Arab people find their origin. We discussed also uh, the the fact that they were nomadic people, but once they domesticated the camel, the Arabs were able to um, expand trade routes and everything, and go through, especially in dry areas, and they were able to rely heavily on the camel for daily life. But the camel was a huge technological advancement that allowed them to develop, along with irrigation was another important development. So let's talk about religion. This is pre-Islam, before Islam got there, because Islam is actually relatively new for religions. It's a relatively new religion based on time-wise, but so before Islam, a lot of the Arabian people were polytheistic. If you remember, polytheistic means worshiping more than one god. Monotheistic is worshiping one god, like Christians are monotheistic. Jewish people are monotheistic. Islamic people are monotheistic. They worship one god. The pre-Islamic Arabs were polytheistic. They worshiped many gods. The main god they worshipped was called Hubal. That right there is an old artistic representation of Hubal. There was a statue of Hubal that the Arabs would pray to and that ask him questions and stuff. They had many gods, but Hubal was the most important. He was depicted as a human with one hand broken off and replaced by a golden hand. I don't know if this is his golden hand over on that side. I don't know if you can't really see my cursor. There we go. I don't know if that's his golden hand or what, but he's supposed to be a human with broken off hand. They would throw arrows at the statue, and the direction the arrow pointed would reveal the answer. Actually, I'm opening up my notes here because I want to make sure you guys are following along with me. Here we go. There we go. Yep. So number 6 is what you should be filling in. Arab pre-Islamic religion, in that they were polytheistic, you can see he arrows arrows in his hand right here. And they would throw arrows, and the direction the arrow fell was an answer of yes or no. There was some adoption in the Arabian Peninsula of Judaism and eventually Christianity when it spread into the land. It was still mostly pagan, polytheistic religion. When you hear the word pagan, it means like your typical worshiping many gods type of religion. The Kaaba. See this big black box here? That's called the Kaaba. It was a holy site. This is number 7 on your notes. It was a holy site for the Arabs. Those that believed that it was Ishmael that was about to be sacrificed and not Isaac believed that Abraham did it at that location, the location of the Kaaba here in this court, what is now a courtyard. It originally was a place that they worshipped Hubal. But now it's evolved and now was brought into Islamic worship. As we're going to see, the Islamic religion kind of adopted a lot of things from a lot of different religions. This being one of them that it adopted from early Arabic polytheistic religions. So the Kaaba was that place. There is a black stone in the Kaaba that many Arabs would kiss in worship. They would worship it by walking up to the stone, and they would kiss this stone. Nowadays, thousands gather to kiss or touch the stone, but now again, it's more of an Islamic thing. And you can see this is that stone in the middle there that we have, but you can see the rows and rows of people at all times that are all around it. They want to reach out and touch the stone or kiss the stone or whatever, and it's inside this area. The stone is supposedly inside this area, and they line up to try to touch it. But that originally was part of pre-Islamic Arab religion. Language is actually what ties most Arab people together, and the language of the Arabs is called Arabic. That's what there's different cultural some slight changes in different culture for different Arabic groups, but what ties them together is their language, which is Arabic. This is the Arabic alphabet here. I'm not going to try to pronounce all of them, but these are different letters in the Arabic alphabet. We've actually adopted some things into our language from Arabic. It's part of, for language families, it's part of the Semitic language family, where there's different language families. We've talked about, there's like the Greco-Roman language families and this and that. Arabic is part of the Semitic language families. And so it's related to Hebrew. It emerged in the 1st or 2nd century AD, Arabic did. So it's we talked about Rome, the Roman Empire. It emerged kind of around Caesar Augustus, or a little bit afterward, maybe Tiberius Caesar or Caesar Nero. Around that time frame is when Arabic started becoming a language. That's when it emerged. In medieval times, Arabic was a major vehicle of culture in Europe. So many European languages borrowed words from Arabic. Our language is just one of them. For instance, all of these words are borrowed directly from Arabic. We have admiral, apricot, assassin, caravan, chemistry, coffee, gazelle, giraffe, jar, lemon, lime, magazine, orange, safari, spinach, tangerine, typhoon, zero. All of those are Arabic type words, Arabic or influenced by Arabic, all those words. And English really is a melting pot of a language. We have so many words that are from French and Spanish and Arabic and Latin and Greek. But these words are influenced by Arabic. Plus the eventual popularity. So because there was a lot of trade routes throughout the Arab lands, that's how the words kind of got adopted in. But in addition to that, the eventual Islamic religion, the eventual popularity of the Islamic religion caused the language to spread even further, because Arabic was the language that the Muslims spoke, and they popularized it more and more. Arabic is the official language of 26 different countries. There are over 400 million speakers, making it the 5th most spoken language in the world. When you're looking up like the most spoken languages in the world, it's a little bit tricky, because some lists talk about first language and only primary language. Other lists count, even if it's your 3rd language, it still counts as how many speakers it has. So sometimes you'll look at lists and they'll have different rankings. But I thought that the good concise consensus was around 5th most spoken language in the world, after, I believe, Chinese is number 1, English is number 2, Spanish is number 3, I think. Oh no, there we go. Chinese, Spanish, English, and Hindi. That's what it is. And this, as I mentioned, speaking of native speakers, meaning it's their first language. If you add in second languages, then English soars to the top, as 66% of English speakers in the world speak it as a second language. So, little fun fact here. So English is only the 3rd highest, 3rd most spoken language, but it's the 3rd most spoken language for people that have it as their primary language. However, a ton of people have it as their secondary language, like they speak Spanish primarily, but they can also speak English or whatever. And actually, so it says 66% of the people who know how to speak English actually speak it as their second language. I'm sure there are people in this class who have Spanish or Portuguese or whatever as their main language, and then they have English as a secondary language, or maybe your parents do. And so English is actually the most spoken language if you consider all the languages that everybody speak, and including secondary languages. If you include just primary languages, it's Chinese. But so there are different variations of Arabic as well. Kingdom of Sabah. So this is one of the first Arabic kingdoms. We're talking about the Kingdom of Sabah. It's one of the earliest Arabic societies, Arabian societies. I keep saying Arabic, I mean Arabian. It was found in the southern part of the peninsula being the Arabian Peninsula. It was originally a farming society that grew larger because of trade. You're going to see this over and over in the next couple of chapters. trade makes nations wealthy. In the Bible, Solomon meets and falls in love with a queen from what is called Sheba, the Queen of Sheba. I don't know if that sounds familiar to you, but this is most likely a queen from the kingdom of Sabah. And this was like the kingdom of Sabah, which was at its highest point, its peak, right during Solomon's day. So this person that he falls in love with, the Queen of Sheba, is most likely an Arabic woman from the kingdom of Sabah on the Arabian Peninsula. The kingdom of Sabah was also written about by the Greek philosopher Eratosthenes. You guys remember he's the guy that plotted the circumference of the earth. Calculated the circumference of the earth. Trade. What did Sabah trade? The kingdom of Sabah and other kingdoms of the Arabs benefited from the Greek trade that would go through their ports. So Greek people would have their trade go through the Mediterranean and stuff like that, and they would sometimes sail and they'd go over land, and they'd sometimes sail through the Red Sea, and they'd go through their ports. The Greek sailors learned to use the monsoons to guide them to be able to trade effectively with India, because they wanted to go over to India. And the men would bring cargo by sea to an Arabian port and then bring them by land to Greece, because you can't sail from India straight to Greece unless you were like go around Africa. So what they would do is they'd sail from India into the Red Sea, and they would stop at an Arabian port, get off at the Arabian port, and then go by land up around the Mediterranean into Greece. Long, long trip. But this would bring the Arabian ports money. They were able to go there and they would spend their money on supplies for the long journey. They'd just come a long journey from India. They would spend money getting supplies for the next long journey all the way to Greece. And it was it made the Arabian ports in the kingdom of Sabah very successful. However, as the sailors learned the routes, they found that they could instead travel straight up the Red Sea, and they would skip the Arabian ports. So what did this do? This made the Greek sailors have shorter trips, and they were able to bypass things. But it also used up. It caused the kingdom of Sabah to have less successful Arabian ports. It's almost like in the old days, if you remember, if you've ever seen the movie Cars, he goes to a town. They used to have the interstate highway go right through it, and people would stop there all the time. But now it's like a ghost town because nobody really goes through it anymore. People use the regular highway, the regular interstate highway, instead of the other highway that goes through the town. And so kind of the same thing happened. They decided that there was just a better way to go through, traveling straight up to the Red Sea instead and skipping the Arabian ports. So the kingdom of Sabah lost a lot of money. And it caused the southern kingdoms of the Arabian Peninsula, not just kingdom of Sabah, but all the southern area, caused them to decline. So if you look kingdom of Sabah on your notes, you can have basically the kingdom of Sabah was the first real successful Arabian kingdom. That was a success due to it being a trading port city for Greek trade, but then it declined because they started skipping the trading ports. We'll talk about next time about the life of Muhammad. All right, so that's where I will leave you. Make sure you look on LMS for your homework. See you guys later.